Hello, everybody. It's Stephen Paul from WinExtra bringing you your daily brief for June the 9th, 2011. And we're going to try and whip through this before, Paul melts too much because he's just not used to the real temperature. Same to you, buddy.
It's not too bad today. It is, what? It was 72 degrees Celsius or something like that. Not Celsius, Fahrenheit.
Oh, Jesus.
Fahrenheit when I got up this morning, which was relatively cool around here. That's like 21 degrees Celsius, but that's a lovely hot summer's day in Ireland. And it's due to get up to 95 today, which is actually relatively cool. We had like a heat index of 105 the other day. I was out driving around and it was literally 103. Just way too hot for this bloke. I need snow. I need like negative temperatures, you know?
Uh-huh.
That makes me happy. But
I know
Microsoft's not happy today.
No. Apparently, this came out just this morning. They had appeared. Well, okay, this goes back to the original court battle between Microsoft and a Canadian company called I4I, who sued Microsoft in 2007. Microsoft lost the case. It had to do with their Microsoft Word and how it used XML, I do believe.
We've talked about this a couple of times. Microsoft had actually lost the case. They were awarded I4I were awarded $290 million in compensation. And Microsoft challenged it because they wanted to try to, I believe, to invalidate the patent.
Well, no, what they wanted to do is they wanted to change the bar of when patents can be basically used against a company. Right now it's a very high bar. They wanted the bar lowered legally. And the court said, no, you want the how patents are adjudicated, you got to go to the Congress to have that changed. And therefore, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled this morning that they got to pay out the money. Yeah,
we talked about this before. Basically, what they wanted to do was, it is actually invalidate the patent, but they weren't directly challenging the patent. What they wanted to do was first bring in a thing where, and we talked about this before, where they could challenge a patent's validity by saying that if there was a preponderance of evidence, which is basically what you have in a normal trial. Actually, in a normal non-patent trial, the amount of evidence required to prove something is a lot less than it is in a patent case.
Yeah. And
a preponderance of evidence would basically just say that, look, this is most likely the case.
Yeah.
Reasonable doubt, if you will. Now, I'm not a lawyer. If anybody out there is a lawyer and would like to explain this better than we have, 251-281-8730 for your voicemail or text message and podcast at WinExtra.com for your email. But basically, they turned around and they said, look, this is just going to change patent law too much.
Yeah.
So we're not doing this.
Yeah. And if you want that kind of change, you got to get Congress to do it.
Yeah, and in this case, I think that's a bad result for everybody.
Yeah.
Because I think, honestly, patent law seriously needs major reform, and it should be much easier to challenge the validity of patents than it currently is. But, Microsoft will have their day in court again as part of a number of groups and technology groups that are currently involved in court cases challenging patents in other areas. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Now, in Europe, we all know that, Google's been getting slapped around because of its Street View mapping techniques. Microsoft apparently has said that in Germany, you can opt out. So they're getting ahead of any possible privacy concerns in Germany.
Yeah, and you see, I'm still very confused by all this, right? Now, obviously, each law in each country is different. Germany has their own privacy laws. England has their own privacy laws. It's a minefield going through Europe. But as far as I know, and again, folks, let us know if I'm wrong, as far as I know, if you're in public, if something is in public, you or it can be filmed and you can take a picture of it, as long as it's not harassing, if you know what I mean. It can be filmed and you can take a picture of it. That's just it. I'm really concerned when people turn around and start saying, that we need to make that we need to make law to stop things like Google Maps, like Google Street View, like Bing Streetside. I think in some cases, willfully changing this stuff in advance is inviting legislative change that is not good for anybody.
Well, I think it's, they're giving, all Microsoft is doing is giving an opt-out option for people. I don't know how it would work, but the point is they're saying, look, we understand that you Germans have a little bit of a warped sense of privacy.
Yeah,
so
I don't want a picture of my house on street maps because I didn't cut my grass.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I can go stand outside your house and take a picture of it today and put it up there, and I'm not breaking any law, and you can't stop me doing it.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of, I can understand that people get creeped out by this stuff, but if you actually sit back and think about it, what invasion of privacy is there? Look, if you don't want a picture of your house on Street Map, quite frankly, build a 20-foot fecking fence in front of it. Because the chances of somebody actually looking at your house on Street Map besides you and knowing that it's your house are slim to bloody none. More people walk past your front yard every bloody day than will ever see it on street maps. You have to get a sense of proportion here, Anyway, that's my rant for today.
Anyway, on to I saw this when it first came up, and it was like one of Paul Thurrot's typical great headlines.
Let's close the show with this ad.
Yeah. No, it sucks. Seriously, it sucks bad. I mean, it's even worse than the Bill and Jerry ads. Come on. Anyway, Paul's headline was...
ads?
Yeah,
Bill and Jerry. Yes. Yeah. Brain fart, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Get a Windows phone for your Xbox Live avatared. Not avatar, avatared.
Yeah, okay. So... on Xbox Live, you can get lots of little extras for your avatar. Like for example, my avatar right now has like the bright spark from Halo flies around with my little avatar, and you can get lots of other little accessories and that sort of stuff. I've seen people with dragons and all that kind of stuff. It's just a way to keep it interesting and keep it interactive.
Yeah.
But of course, and there's thousands of things out there you can get for your avatars, but now you can get a Windows Phone 7 for your avatar, and the ad for it sucks. Oh, I mean, it sucks. Really sucks. Donkeys sweating nut sacks.
Yes.
And it's that bad that Hodson, as you just heard, has refused to tack it on to the end of the show.
I'm not. I have to refuse.
So you guys will just have to click on the YouTube link in the show notes and whatever Hodson has actually shown while we're talking here. Moving on from the avatars, and speaking of Windows Phone 7, Bing for mobile is getting more social, apparently. Whole bunch of updates for it. Sharing on Facebook, so if you come across an image, you can share to Facebook local business details from within applications and applications, of course. Now, this isn't specifically Windows Phone 7. This is Bing for mobile, so this will be your iOS Bing app or your. Some of these features aren't Android yet, but it will eventually be there too. So, you can like stuff when you're browsing in your Bing app. A couple of improvements to the news. Maps list gets a split view. You get a search history and a quick link, a quick, easy way to see trending topics. I would think this would be giving you a hard-on, Hudson. These kind of updates usually do. And basically,
the moment I hear getting more social, I just sort of go into like a daze, just like, oh God, not more crap.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, for those of you who have HTML5 capable devices, or, you have the app installed, so iPhone, Android, RIM, no mention of Windows Phone 7.
Just wait. We'll hear about that today. Guaranteed somebody's going to be whining and crying about that.
Well, you know what? One rumor we can put to bed.
Yes.
In terms of all this mobile stuff and this phone stuff.
Yes.
Is Microsoft buying Nokia?
Or even, what's the one that came up yesterday? Samsung. Yeah, there was a rumor went ballistic.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Anyway, ELOP has come out, according to the Wall Street Journal anyway, and categorically says that they are just rumors. No, they are just that, rumors. They are completely groundless. Nokia is not for sale. So, Nokia is not for sale, folks.
Yeah, the one,
stop writing about it!
Yeah, the other one that I heard too is that they had sat down to talk about it, but Nokia wanted something like $2 billion more than Microsoft was willing to pay, so the deal went south.
No, I don't think ELOP would have come out and saying Nokia is not for sale if that had happened, because in that case he would have said no. He would have denied talks with Microsoft, or said something else. But it would have come along to the lines of Nokia is not for sale unless the price is right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, this next one you put in here, I'll let you run through it because it sounds cool, but I think you've got a better grip of what is all involved here.
Well, I haven't tried the desktop app yet, but okay, this is Microsoft's desktop player. Now, this is a tool for searching Microsoft properties for content, if you're an IT professional or if you're a developer. And basically what you can do is you tell the app a little bit about yourself, whether you're a developer or a business person, how big your company is, where you are, for example, and then you do your searches based on products, and it will bring you back information, and generally this information is like podcasts or webcasts or white papers or links to specific documents that deal with stuff for that product, such as like how to integrate Windows Phone 7 into your IT environment. This is both a web-based app and a desktop client. And basically it searches the Microsoft. It doesn't sound too amazing, does it? No. But it is really, really handy if you want a tutorial on to how to say set up your home server or set up Exchange on your business server, okay? You search for that and it will bring you related podcasts and vidcasts and white papers and that sort of stuff without having to go trawling through MSDN
or
Microsoft
Google searches
sites,
or Bing searches.
Yeah, and it'll bring it all to you in one location, and you can watch the videos and read the white papers and the whole lot right there in the player. Yeah. And as I said, it works out.
What it sounds like is they've taken the help system out of Visual Studio and put it into a separate app, because you could basically do that from Visual Studio within the IDE itself. And
but this is a more Silverlight based player.
Yeah, they just give it a different front end. Yeah.
And it's 100%, and it's completely free. You'll find links to both check out the web-based version, which I checked out in Chrome this morning. I haven't downloaded the actual desktop app yet, but you'll find links to download the desktop app as well in the show notes, folks.
Okay, this last one, we'll just blow through it because it's a fluff piece as usual, considering where it comes from. I don't know why Paul suffers me through this crap. But Mashable.
It's called revenge, dude. Revenge for all the shit you put me through regularly, you know. And we know how much of a hard-on you've got for Ben Parr, you know. So
yeah, Mr. Hayes Zuck himself. Yeah,
dude, we were trying to figure out pre-show whether or not, you know, Ben Parr is the guy who went to a Facebook conference, and when the chances came for everybody to ask questions of Zuckerberg, most reporters, being professional, and were like, you know, Mr. Zuckerberg or Mark, or, you know, being polite and professional. And Ben Parr asks his question going, "Hey, Zuck." And that's not the first. That's not the only time the guy has done stuff like this.
Anyway,
Anyway, moving on, because this isn't a Ben Parr character assassination. Because, you know, besides these,
he does it himself.
No, he's a good guy. He's a stand-up guy. It's just you have to rag on people when they do stuff like this, and I do plenty of stuff like this. Anyway, Ben Parr got the opportunity to get his hands on and try Star Wars for Kinect, and he thinks it'll be a solid product when it comes out, but he has many of the same concerns that I expressed when we previously talked about the fact that Star Wars was coming to Kinect. Hard to use the Force, lightsaber movements really restrictive. It's more like hack and slash. Come on, this is Star Wars. You're supposed to be doing 360 twirls with your double-bladed lightsaber. You know, not sure my geekdom fanboys in here or anything. People listening to the audio won't get that. You'll have to go watch the video. But basically, the controls are clunky. This first Star Wars game, I know he says it might turn out to be okay, but it looks like in my opinion, this first Star Wars game for Kinect is going to be a flop. And I really, really do think that they need the first Star Wars game that comes out on Kinect to be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's a case of having to rush it to market to get it out there to show that they can do it. Not well, but do it. But
apparently all the Jedis in the world are only right-handed.
Yeah.
You can't use the lightsaber with your left hand at the moment, although they do promise that will be available at launch. I'm thinking, dude, if you're demoing the thing right now and you haven't figured out how to make the lightsaber work in your left hand, seriously?
Anyway,
I don't have much hope for this.
Anyway, if you have any thoughts or opinions on stuff we've talked about today on the show, you can drop us a line at podcast@winextra.com or leave us a comment anywhere where you find the show, winextra.com or winextra.tv. Or you can drop us a line, voicemail at 251-281-8730, or even text message us there.
That's the word you're looking for.
Yes. And on that note, that's Paul. I'm Steve. This has been WinExtra's Daily Brief for June the 9th, 2011. Take care, everybody.
Have a good one, folks.